Welcome back. It's been some time now, hasn't it? If you are reading this message, then I'd assume you received this distress signal. I'm sorry to have to request your assistance once more. My time is soon coming to an end, but by my own design, a fate chosen for a new future, in a way. The protagonist is in the crisis situations, and I once again need your help. These are my last hours, and I intend to use them to the fullest. So please, I ask of you, take our hand and forge our future together. Rain. I've been surrounded by it my whole life, but only now do I recognize it for what it was. Tears. The tears of some higher being, perhaps. Maybe God. Whatever the case, the tears of the countless worlds above fell to the ground in a perfect, beautiful harmony as I stared up at them, not caring how many fell into my eyes. It was dark, naturally so. It was well past sunset in the middle of winter, and despite Tokyo's reputation as a city that never sleeps, barely anyone walked by the fallen bench I sat on. Shit! I heard footsteps getting closer, and unfolded my umbrella to look only slightly less like a crazy person. A familiar silhouette faded into view. If it was anyone else, I would probably be upset at my moment to myself being interrupted. But if there was anyone who could poke her way into my bubble at this kind of moment, I was fine being it with her. There you are. I had a feeling I'd find you here. Why? Enough of our memories came back for me to know what this place is. Yeah. Allison sat down on the bench next to me, taking the umbrella from my hands and propping it up over both of us. She leaned onto my shoulder. You nearly gave me a heart attack Saturday. When I went to bring you your dinner and you weren't there, I got really scared. I'm really sorry. I just needed to go outside. I'm just glad you are safe. It had been a week since the event that occurred at the Sunrise building. But it all went by in such a blur, it felt like it could have been a day or a few months. Time hardly felt real anymore, and the day blended together. I'm glad you're at least well enough to go outside again. Yeah, I guess. I listened to the pitter-pattering of the raindrops on the umbrella Allison held over us. Even that didn't feel real anymore, because I knew it wasn't. Are you real? I hope so. I could tell Allison had her own turmoil boiling around inside her as a result of the revelation of the week prior. The idea that our whole lives had been lived in a false reality, a constructed story, had shaken up everyone. Even Ari had lost her cool, and I heard her sobbing a few nights ago from my room. The thing that scared me the most, however, was not my life up to this point being fake, or the truth about Suki's death. It was the idea that the girl next to me right now, who had saved my life, gave me love when I felt like I was at my lowest. The idea that she wasn't real. I remember what Dawn said, but I never heard from her after that night. I can't verify for absolute certainty that her claim about all of us being real beings transported into this world was the absolute truth. And the fact that I didn't know for certain if it was one way or the other scared me to death. Way more than even just knowing for certain that I was the only real one would. Do you want me to walk you back to Gio's, or should I stay with you here for a little while longer? Just a bit longer. Yeah, that's okay. The bench we sat on faced parallel to a small playground and part that looked like it didn't see much use nowadays. But I remember that swing set, that cheap metal slide. This was my home. In the original world. This was where Suki and my dad and I lived. When we first started staying in Gio's apartment, this house didn't appear. But I knew now. I knew the truth about this world, about my sister. So it appeared to me, plain as day. I remembered the creaky wooden walls, and I saw them. I could hear them. Memories flooded me, and if Allison wasn't there, I felt like I might have lost myself in them. Even if this world isn't real, I... The umbrella I brought that now rested in Allison's soft hand had a plastic roof, allowing me to see straight through the individual drops as they hit and burst on the umbrella's top. I want to believe my feelings, my actions, are real. Yeah, if I don't at least have that, then I might as well not be real myself. I took the umbrella back from Allison's hand. I'm good to head back now. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. I could tell she was holding a lot in, and getting her to open up was difficult. I knew this. But I would be there for her until the very end, and I knew that she would be there for me. I took Allison's hand and we walked down the dimly lit street of Ikebukuro back to Chio's apartment. 1 week prior. I was scrambling, panicking, desperate. Everything had changed in one single nanosecond. I ran through the blurry neon sign of the red light district, attracting a number of strain gauges from passerby. Shit! God damn it! What the hell? Something had happened. I didn't know what, and I didn't like that I didn't know what. But some kind of divine intervention had occurred. It was during my fight with the Liberator, or what I now know to be the typical endpoint of Block S. The script diverged, and a bright light illuminated the area. Are you going to waste the one escape road you've never been through since the moment you were born? Because I'm sure the hell not! I let my guard down. I had fallen into a sense of security, and she knew that. She took advantage of that, and she brought us both down to the same level. I don't know what she did, but I'm stuck down here now, in the story. Any and all ability to reset the narrative has been completely obliterated for me. I can't even access between space anymore. Where are you? What are you planning to do? I screamed into the air knowing, no, praying that she was somehow watching from above. I was on the same level as protagonist now, and I hated that. I despised that. I loathed that. And then, as if the universe were to answer me directly, I collided directly with someone of full speed. Tong! Right, people on layer 0 have to deal with actual physics. Ow! Shit! Both of us fell to the ground, and when I looked up to see what had happened, my anger temporarily gave way to shock. Wait, you are here? You aren't up there anymore either? People all around us were staring at us, a feeling neither of us had ever known. We had always just weaved our way through the fabric of the story, always a level above everyone that existed inside it. Everything had changed. Get up, people are going to keep staring. Why are you here? I thought that you were the one who cast me down there. The Liberator brushed some gravel from the pavement off the shoulder area of her dress. Hilariously, that was exactly what I was about to ask you. It seems we both in an unusual situation here. She extended a hand to me. Relax. Even if I wanted to fight, I literally can't. And it seems like you can't either. Come on now. Reluctantly, I took her hand and stood myself up. Alright, well, it's probably not a good idea to split up for the time being, as much as I would rather anyone company but yours. There's a pretty good coffee shop on this block that's open overnight. The absurdity of the situation of my opposing counterpart offering to take me on a coffee date made my head spin, but she was, unfortunately, right. There was nothing to be gained by going at it alone in such an unfamiliar situation. Lead the way, I guess. And so she did. And I watched, the only one left in the sky. Cycle 8266. How did it end? What were its last hours like? This chapter of our story is a eulogy to the determination and love of Saturday Tasokare. All of her. These are our last hours. By the time we got back to Chio's apartment, it seemed like she had already gone to sleep. Alison and I stepped through the door and dried our shoe on the entrance mat before stepping into the new, now dimly lit apartment. Did Chio go to sleep? Kotomi and Eri sat on the couch. Kotomi looked up. Yeah, about half an hour ago. All of this has been a lot for her. I think it's been a lot for all of us. Understandably so. Yeah. Alison and I sat on the couch and adjacent to the one Kotomi and Eri sat on. Are you cold, Sat? I'll go heat up some of the leftover soup in the fridge if you like. I nodded. Yeah, soup makes everything better, even if just a little bit. Thanks, Ali. Alison walked off, and I looked up at Eri and Kotomi, as if unsure how to begin to talk. Sorry I went all wall on you guys. I didn't mean to worry you. I just... Hey, it's okay. Well, I think your reaction is arguably the more understandable one. I looked at her inquisitively. How so? Eri paused for a second as if unsure whether to continue, but she did so anyway. I was just talking about this with Kotomi. It feels unnatural, the degree to which she and I have just accepted this. Like, it doesn't feel strange for this world to be not real, if you want to call it that. I don't think that's that weird. Do you think so? I mean, we all grieve in different ways. Some of our processes easier than others, and that's okay. At some point, it felt like I started talking more so to myself than to the Nichibotsus. I guess maybe it's foolish to think in terms of what's normal when none of this is normal in the first place, or at least not what we remember being taught is normal. I understood what she was getting at, the idea of how much of our lives had been really under our control from the very start. It's like that theory that the universe and everything that makes up the universe was created less than 1 nanosecond ago. And everything we remember was filled in for us. It never happened, but the universe operates as if we remember it anyway. I remember hearing about that. It really fucked me up way back then when I first learned about it, because that scares me. Does it not anymore? I think I stopped caring once I pulled myself out of getting stuck in the past. The temptress called nostalgia. I have a very clear recollection of the knife from a few months back. It kinda scares me when I actually think about it with the context of everything we learned. I knocked on Alison's door, and even then I felt my hands shaking. A slight groan came from inside. Who is it? Saturday. Sorry, can I come in? Saturday, what are you doing in my room? It's 2 a.m. in the goddamn morning. I'm not doing too great. Can I come in? Yeah, of course, let me get dressed. I heard her shuffle around a bit, and then she opened the door. Come in, sit down. Tell me what's going on. I nervously walked into Alison's room and sat down on her bed. So, what's happening? Talk to me. I'm just scared, panicking. I guess. Yeah, I'm having a panic attack. Did something happen? Did you see something online that upsets you? Yeah. Sorry. Shh. No apologies. Talk it through. I saw this like theory or something about the universe and how maybe it hadn't actually existed until now. Like, what if nothing existed until this second and everything we remember was actually just fake memory we have and I see. Okay. Deep breaths. Slow down, girl. Deep breaths. Breathe in, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out, hold for seconds. Just do that a few times, okay? Okay. I did as she instructed. Deep breath in, hold for 4 seconds, deep breaths out. Hold for 4 seconds. After a minute or so, I felt myself stop shaking. Okay. Sorry, I think No apology. Shh. It's okay. Then I felt her wrap her arms around me from behind in a tight embrace. It's okay. Ali, And then the tears start flowing, interspersed with soft sobs, all wrapped in a tight, warm hug. It's okay to cry, and cry I did. Can I tell you a story, Saturday? Through my tears, it was too difficult to speak, so I nodded. This is the story of a lost kitten. There once was a lost kitten. It didn't matter to her how she got lost, but she found herself alone in a dark, dark place. Across this place she roamed for hours, days, weeks. She felt nothing, but she was very much alive. She found herself a home. It was the only place she could go, a small cardboard box in a dimly lit alley. And so she stayed, but she continued to feel nothing. It was perhaps more accurate to say that she had never felt anything to begin with, so she never even realized something was missing from her. She lived, but she was not alive. Months, years passed, and the kitten would watch time and time again as the rush of civilization destroyed her only place she thought of as home. She'd do her best to rebuild each time, but you can only repair a ship so many times until it isn't the same ship anymore. Her home was gone. Maybe it was her fault for ever trying to call it home in the first place. Maybe it was her fault they didn't like her. The kitten continued to wander, its fur wrinkled and wet, a result of the life she lived. Nobody liked a wrinkly cat. They are ugly. Nobody's want a cat who's already been beaten to death by the world around her. The kitten wandered. It grew. It continued to live, but if there had been a semblance of life in it at any point before, it had long since disappeared. The kitten cried. She didn't know why. Why would she feel anything? And then the kitten found a light. It was dim, a light that the civilization that had kicked her to the curb would never have even noticed. She followed her light, down the alleys, through the crevices, to the place tucked very far away, a place safe from reality. There, she found another cat. For the first time ever, the kitten found herself, not in the world around her, but in another. The kitten felt. The kitten grew, not on her own, but together with the only other person that understood her. They grew together. And on a rainy day, many years later. Hey, what's wrong? The cat stopped. She looked forward into the alley. It was no different than any of the others she had seen in her life, but she knew it. That's home. You mean that's where you used to? The cat nodded. At one point, I called that place home. Of course, the cardboard box the cat had once set up was long since gone. Her home was no longer there. My home. It's not there anymore. Ah, shit. Right. They were doing construction around here earlier this year, weren't they? I'm so sorry, Ali. The cat stared, but she felt nothing. No sadness, no regret. Because that place wasn't ever my home. My home was with you Saturday. I saw even harder as Allison helped me tie. I've been such the fucking idiot. You just been you Saturday Tatsukare. I put you in danger. You really died because we investigated the basement. How am I supposed to live with that? Allison sighed softly. But I didn't. I'm right here. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. That was when everything changed. Why does it matter if the world isn't real? Why does it matter if our memories aren't real? Right now, at this moment, my feelings are real. Everything I feel is real. That's really all that matters. Are you serious? You took me to a cafe? This was your super secret hideout spot? Hey, shut up. I know the places of this city better than you. To suck it up and get us a spot. What? What is it? How did you do that? Oh, for the love of... Stay here. I walked over to the late night clerk. Do please. He pointed me to a table near the window. You do it like that. I could have done that. Then wait. Forget it. Come on. We maneuvered through the tight gaps between tables and chairs to the booth spot near the window. It sat directly against the wall, and there was a wall with tons of old newspaper decorating it. So, did you manage to figure anything out? Not much. It seems the only lead we really have is that whatever it was that caused us to actually pass Log S was the same thing that more or less revoked us of our position in between space. So, nothing we don't know already. Great. Hey, you try. I'm assuming you didn't manage to get anything either. Yeah, can't really fault you when I'm in the same boat. But at the same time, I'm not surprised. How so? Well, 8,266 cycles, and we know how this work right now. Those inside the confines of the narrative don't typically gain the ability to learn information about that which resides outside of it. That's true. Protagonist was only able to because of your getting her. Oh, so you finally admit that that was useful? I don't know. And to be honest, I don't know how to feel about the fact that I don't know. You too then. Huh. I know who and what I am. I am the World Keeper, Flight Personified, a split off from Saturday during the variant of emotion. You and I are both literal embodiments of concept, and as a result, until now, we've been locked in an internal battle as we can't coexist. Which means it should, given the entire history of everything that's happened in these 8,266 cycles, be impossible for me to give any credit at all to your efforts inside the narrative to lead Saturday to the truth. Yeah, and likewise, it should be impossible for me to give any credit to your efforts to keep protagonist and her friends safe from the harm I created in it, the path to the truth. In other words, everything about our current situation should not exist. And yet, here we are, indeed. We sat for a while, as time passed on a scale we'd never been able to truly feel until being stripped of what had made us who we previously believed we were. What are we, really? Parts of Saturday, I think. I know that, but if we aren't who we previously thought ourselves to be, what are we really? I didn't have an answer to that. Neither of us did. We sat in silence for a while longer, and then the waitress came over to get our order. 5 salmon nigiri, please. I'll get the spring roll set. Thanks, I'll be back shortly with your food. Thank you. The waitress left. 5 salmon nigiri? Hey, it's the best kind of nigiri. Don't knock it till you try it. Dawn sighed disappointedly. I had an idea about what you could do. I'm all ears. Dawn leaned forward and spoke in a hushed tone. Allison and I stepped off the metro car into the more nature-oriented street of Hachioji. Are you doing okay? I'm holding it together. Thanks, Sally. If you want to go home, just say the word. I understand. I nodded. Thank you. I want to push forward. We had left Chiyo's about 45 minutes prior, and were on our way to the small location in the nature of Hachioji. We've been planning this for a few days now. It felt like something that I needed to do. Looks like it's a straight shot from here. I call over a taxi. Thanks. I breathe in and then out. I was scared. I wasn't afraid to admit it, but that didn't mean I wasn't still scared. A small taxi pulled over for us and opened the door. Allison and I hopped in the back seats. Hello, sir. We're trying to get here. Allison pointed to the location of her phone's Google Maps, and the driver nodded. We fastened our seatbelt and got back on the road. I felt Allison's head fall on my shoulder. She was probably tired. Not that I could blame her. It wasn't a long drive, but it felt simultaneously like an eternity and a nanosecond. Finally, the driver dropped us off at our destination, and Allison paid the fee. We got out of the taxi and drove away. Are you ready? I am. Okay, let's go. She took my hand, and we walked into the small enclosed area, past the entrance sign that read Hachioji Cemetery. The graveyard wasn't very large inside, but it housed exactly what it needed to. Each row had various graves lining them. Names lined the stones, written in just enough detail to not catch your eye. But if you look at them, you will realize they weren't real names at all. The only sound that permeated the area was the rustling of the leaves as Allison and I walked through each row. The distant howling of the city life back down the hill we walked up to get here. There were 5 rows of graves. When we reached the 4th one, I stopped in my tracks and squeezed Allison's hand. "Look," I pointed. She nodded. We both saw it. An empty slot in the row of graves. Undisturbed. The only slot in the entire graveyard that had no grave in it. But I knew that spot. I couldn't forget that spot. The Dustbreaker could try to take away my memory, but it would never succeed. "Can you stay here for a second?" "Yeah, I can. Just come back for me for the moment you need to." "I will. Thank you, Allison." I let go of her hand and took a dozen or so steps towards the empty slot. Each step felt like I was crossing a whole world. And when I got close enough, I could see it. My eyes didn't register it, but I saw her grave there. In my mind, I saw her grave. I walked up to it and kneeled down. "Hey, it's been a while, sis. I know that this isn't the most ideal situation for us to be talking in. I guess maybe it would have been better if it came during the day. But I guess it just felt like it was the right time. Cause, you know, what Suki's means and all felt fitting, I guess. Things have been kind of stressful. I mean, not kind of. It's been really hard to go on. I feel like it wouldn't be a stretch to say that this past weeks have been the hardest week of my life to push through. It's really overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. The other night I was wondering if it was worth trying to keep pushing through it. Do you remember that day back in 2008? It was the first time Mom and Dad left us alone at home. We were so excited. "We're finally real adults," you said. We ended up making a pillow fort on the couch. Mom came home early and couldn't find us anywhere, and she was panicking. Remember laughing about that? It was so funny to us at the time. I never told you this, but I didn't sleep that night. I was thinking about her and her panic. I didn't even stop to consider how awful it would be the moment you realize someone you love more than anything in the world just wasn't there anymore. The other night, I thought about just giving up. Fully. If nothing was ever real to begin with, could I reach the real world if I just left this one behind? Allison walked in the room. She asked me what was wrong, and I tried to lie, but you know I can't lie to her. She broke down sobbing. Immediately. I can't blame her. I was such an idiot. Because I know how it feels to be absolutely at peace with your life and those you love, and then suddenly you just lose them. You wake up one day and you get a call from Mom, and you don't know when you pick up the receiver that call will change your life forever. That you're about to find out that someone you love more than anything else in the whole wide world is just not here anymore. I stood up and gestured to Allison across the path. I didn't want her to be apart from me anymore. She walked over and hugged me. "I miss you, Suki. I miss you so fucking much. I don't know what I'm doing sometime without you, and I can't believe it. Even all these years later, if I could just go back to the day it all happened and just change one thing, I just want to say that I loved you. That I was so grateful for the time I got to spend as your sister. I sobbed into Allison's shoulder. I heard her begin to cry as well. I just wish I could see your face one more time. Laugh with you one more time. About something that doesn't matter at all. I just wish you would get mad at me one more time for screwing something up on a playset. I just want to go stargazing with you again. I just want you to see how far I come and tell me you're proud of me. You don't even know me by my name, goddammit! Allison held me tighter. I just want to smile with you one more time before I have to say goodbye. I just want to watch you play the piano again Even if your hands were too small to hit the chords in the song you wanted to play. I don't want to say goodbye. I don't ever want to. I just wish I could tell you how sorry I am. I cried for another 20 minutes. I cried to the skies, praying it would reach my one and only sister, in the true heaven that she no doubt went to. Allison stayed with me the whole time, also crying. She didn't say a word. Neither did I. We just cried together as one. Finally, I wiped off the last few tears in my eyes and let go of Allison. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, Allison. Thank you so much for being in my life. I love you more than anything in the world. Allison wiped away her own tear and smiled at me as more continued to pour out. I wouldn't ever want to be anywhere else. Not in this world. Not in the real world or any. I fell back into her arms, and we hugged each other tight for another few minutes. Not out of sorrow, but out of love. I love you too. It was just after midnight when we were finally ready to head back. Should I call for another taxi? Let's wait till we get down the hill. Okay. I took her hand again, and we began walking back through the rows of graves. As we passed by the small cabin that served as the operation office, the lamp above us flickered. And when it came back on, two figures appeared on the horizon. I recognized them in a matter of seconds. Words weren't able to escape me. I was stunned, speechless. Suki. The woman who stood before me only served to generate endless noise that reverberated through my mind like a ball bouncing across a small room. Hello? Nobody really knew what to say. Nothing felt like the right thing to say. On one side stood Dawn, and who I had at one point believed to be my sister, and on the other stood myself and Allison, and between us, an infinitely large distance. I came here today to finally tell you the truth about this past year. I'm all ears, please. Suki sighed. Allison gripped my hands tight. You see, the truth is, back in July, But before she could finish speaking, or even really begin, Dawn cut her off. Saturday, the woman standing before you is not your sister, but you already knew that, didn't you? Suki looked over at Dawn, surprised. What the hell do you think you are? Answer the question, Saturday. I fidgeted. Of course Dawn was right, but something about her demeanor told me that playing into what she was asking would only lead me to pain. Of course you knew. Then, can you extrapolate who this woman really is? Her true nature? I don't know. Saturday, no! Don't listen to her! Dawn, this wasn't the plan! Hysterical! I suppose I had to spell it out for you then. This woman is... Suki jumped forward, attempting to tackle Dawn. But it was to no avail. The words had already left Dawn's mouth. Suki Tasogare is the World Keeper! Time froze. The World Keeper? Of course, I remember that name. My antithesis, the one preventing you from reaching the truth. Your enemy. What the hell are you talking about? Don't try to deny it. You claim you want to keep Saturday happy in this fake world, but look at you. The only time you've seen her since July was when you broke into her hotel room and tried to shoot her friend. Suki seemed at a loss for words. Suki, this is all bullshit, right? It's all bullshit! Tell me it is! Even saying it, I knew it wasn't. But I was desperate. Look at that! Guilty as charged! She doesn't even have the will to fight back! Dawn, you bastard! Were you planning this the whole fucking time? Dawn laughed. A cold, methodic laugh, but it held a twinge of sorrow. I'm sorry, Saturday, but this is the only way. We are all here. We can finally become whole again, without her. You fucking... Suki jumped forward at Dawn, but Dawn reflected her and she fell back to where she was previously. We can finally escape this godforsaken cage, this prison. We don't need you anymore, World Keeper. You're nothing but an obsolete emotion. Dawn turned to me. I had no idea what expression I wore on my face anymore, but it couldn't be described with words. Now, let us leave this detestable fake world behind Saturday. Let us face reality and return to life as it should be. Together we... Her rambling was interrupted by the sound of impact. I lunged forward and punched her square in the face. Dawn fell back, a slight bit of blood spurting from her nose. Become whole again? Leave obstinate emotion behind? Did you even listen to yourself? I listened and Suki looked on in shock. But the most surprised of all was the woman who seemed so full of confidence just a second prior. You think either of you care about me even a little fucking bit? Because it shouldn't seem like it. Both of you came to be doing everything you do for me. But guess what? You don't really seem to know me one bit! Dawn regained her composure and stood herself up. She raised her hand and materialized her pistol, aiming it square on my chest. Another different cycle then! So be it! I do this many goddamn times as I need to, and you can't do shit to stop me because we know we can break law ass now! The woman laughed maniacally. She looked over at Suki. 8,267? 10,000? 100,000? I bring it all back to no as many times as needed to! And eventually, you will reject her! You will realize that you do not need Suki Tatsugare! I clenched my fist and braced for impact. Then try! Dawn lunged at me. A fatal mistake. She had a gun, but she refused to use it. Why? I suppose it didn't matter for me. I didn't block it. I stood there and watched her draw closer. I'm not your fucking door anymore! From across the path, Suki watched, and finally, something clicked. Dawn! You bastard! Her humanity regained, even if just slightly, she praised, and a link is established. My mind and hers are one, like it should be. And in a single moment, Suki lunged forward herself. She reached out her hands and... the world freezes. What is this? I stood alone in the world of grayscale. Everyone around me had frozen, yet I could move about, like I had been released from my shackles. Then, I noticed something appear in front of me. Free something, to be exact. Are these psychologs? Then this is freeze frame. I had never activated before, only the Liberator had, but it seemed like I activated in just a nick of time. So this is what it was like for Dawn all those time. I guess then if I solve this, I may be able to get protagonist out of this situation. She gazed up on the psychologs. Freeze frame could only last for so long, which meant it was time to get to work. Wait, does it break every time the Liberator does this too? You think I'm going to just sit here and let your cycle reset after we come this far? You clearly haven't known who I am from the start! Hysterical! Looks who's talking now that the Miss Miracle can save us? Seems like I had a change of heart. I guess that made me more human than you, huh? World Keeper! A strike, a slash, and then silence. And in the sky, a pistol flies up and disintegrates. Suki stood in front of me, having slashed her sight in just in time to knock Dawn's gun out of her hands. Forcing her to confront the truth like this isn't going to help her at all, you moron! Dawn, once again caught off guard, laughs, but in a clearly trembling voice. You dumbass Saturday. I hope you only realize that this woman is having you because her mortal nemesis is threatening you. I stood behind Suki, too shocked at what had just happened to say much of anything. But I regained composure and clenched my fist. Yeah, you're right. I'm not scared to admit it. We are fragmented, incapable of acting unless it falls in line with our reason to existing. Suki looked up solemnly. Even still, I got enough humanity in me to realize something. Pushing Saturday either which way isn't going to fix her. Suki, I'm sorry Saturday. There's still so much you don't know. You don't realize how much you truly lie at the center of everything that's happened. I think I have been able to intuit that, even just a bit. Suki turned back to look at Dawn. Come on Dawn, there's no need for us to fight pointlessly like this. We can't become whole again unless all of us are in there. Dawn, clearly defeated, sighed. Suki offered a hand to her to help her stand up after she'd fallen down for the impact of Suki's attack. God damn it! You... She lifted her hand up and grabbed Suki's hand. Are hysterically stupid. What? In an instant, a large flash of light blinded everyone in the vicinity. Dawn stood her up and laughed at all of us. Suki was flung backwards and landed next to me. You hilarious World Keeper! You think you have the one-up on me? Some advantage? Did you forget what we are? What the hell are we to go on about? What did you do? We're two sides of the same coin, World Keeper. You think I can't predict exactly what we're going to try to do? Are you saying... No! You couldn't have... You synchronized yourself with later one to intervene, didn't you? No! How the hell did you... Dawn laughed. Her pistol materialized in her hand again. Guess what? You weren't the only one who synchronized! I turned to look at Suki. I have to admit I'm barely following what's going on, but are you saying that she had the same power as you now? Suki gritted her teeth. Regrettably, yes. I should have realized she's seafooded. Now, World Keeper, do you remember what we represent? God damn it! Say it! Explain it to her! This time you are going to be the one to confess the truth! She pointed her gun at Suki. Suki? What's she talking about? God damn it, Liberator! Suki threw her sight to the ground. Dawn smiled and lowered her pistol. She and I are not whole beings. We are a part of you. Specifically the ideas of fight and flight brought to life. Huh? What? Huh? This entire time she's been guiding you to the truth, leading you along a breadcrumb trail, and building your desire to find the truth no matter the cost, strengthening the ideal she represents. Dawn laughed. And so you did! You followed the trail and found the truth! The truth that your sister had been dead for over a decade, and the girl in front of you is just a sad, sad reflection of yourself! And at the very end, she brought us both here under the guise of the plan she never intended to follow through. It exposed my identity before your very eyes, tipping any last favor you might have had for me right over. Exactly! 1,000 points to Teamwork Keeper! We both synchronize to later one right now, but you are good and helpless against me! I couldn't understand what was happening anymore, but I could gather this much. Giving in to my confusion and sorrow now is exactly what the antagonist woman in front of me wanted. I held myself together. Now I'm sorry, but our little jamboree has to come an end. You fucking bastard! Don't lay a head on them! Dumbass, it's far too late to prayer now. Dawn disappeared from the environment and rematerialized behind Allison, who had been too stunned to speak since Suki had first arrived. She delivered a roundhouse kick, toppling Allison over and knocking her out. Allison! I rushed over to her to get her up and glared at Dawn. You piece of shit! All coherent thought had vanished. I rushed forward in a blind rage. Dawn found this amusing and laughed. Time for payback! Dawn delivered a punch to my solar plexus, and I fell to the ground like a puppet with its strings cut. Damn you! But there was nothing I could do, and my consciousness faded, leaving only the shattered being standing, and myself watching. Now then, Worldkeeper, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. We only had a moment to act. Prepare yourself. Suki sighed. There was nothing she could do. Just about. Looks like you finally came to your senses. Dawn raised her pistol again and pointed like at Suki's chest. Good night, Saturday. No! A large blast of light fills the area once more. What? No! Dawn and Suki freeze in place, and a new figure melts into the environment as the world turns gray once more. Thank goodness. I walk over to where the protagonist lay and pick her up. The color returned to her, but she remained unconscious. I'm so sorry. I sat Saturday down on the ground momentarily, and then held my hand out. A fissure in the fabric of the narrative was created, and on the other side, a layer above. It's time for you to learn everything, Saturday. I pick her up once more and carry her to the crack in reality. I heard a voice from somewhere. Someone encouraging me to wake up? I think I like to wake up. This dream is horrible. I opened my eyes and saw an unfamiliar figure standing over me. You are... Hey! Good to see you finally up. I rubbed my forehead in pain. What is this? It's complicated. Don't rush yourself getting up, I mean. I know I just said you can't sleep forever, but you can. But you shouldn't. The figure in front of me bore a striking resemblance to myself, but she lacked color in almost every aspect of her figure. Are you also another me? Like those two? In a sense, yes, but I'm not quite like them. For a name, I guess Storyteller works. Storyteller. My head clearing up a bit. I stood up. We appear to be in some kind of bedroom. What is this place? This doesn't look like anywhere close to the graveyard. Between space later one, Dawn's interlayer hideout. She isn't using it right now, so I repurposed it to give you a place to read. Between what? Yeah, sorry. This is kinda hard to explain. I guess to make a long story short, you know that the world you live in is a simulated layer created by the Ducksbreaker, right? Yeah, trust me, I'm well aware. So, as far as you're concerned, there's two layers involved in all of this, right? The real world you and your friend came from, and the simulated world you've been living in. Yeah, more or less. So is this still in the simulated world? Well, kind of. There are actually 4 layers at play here. Those who can travel between them, which to be fair, is just me, Suki, and Dawn, refer to them as layer 0, 1, 2, or 3. I scratched my head. I think I remember Dawn saying something about layer 1 when she tricked Suki and knocked us all out. She did, yes. For all intents and purposes, when we talk about the simulated world, the Deathbreaker credits, we are referring to layer 0. It and layer 3 are the only actual layers. My head slightly hurt, but I generally understood what she was saying. So then the simulated world is layer 0, and then the real world is layer 3? Then what about 1 and 2? Good question. Right now, we are on 1. I don't think I have to explain that 1 and 2 are between 0 and 3. So these two layers, even though they aren't actually world layers, I'll refer to as layer 1 and 2 for simplicity's sake. Wait, so we are in between world layers? Is that even possible? If worse than we wouldn't be here right now, wouldn't we? I guess that's true. It was a lot to take in, but it was more digestible since I've already known for some time now about the whole simulated world thing. In general terms, this place is the void of thought and memories. We call it between space, since it's, the space in between worlds. Between space, huh? I sat in silence, taking everything in for a little while. Storyteller sat in a chair that assumedly was usually used by Dawn. I'm sorry, there's still one thing I'm lost on. Why am I here? What happened to Allison, to Suki, or Dawn? Are they okay? Storyteller laughed lightly. What? What's so funny? Nothing. It's just caring about Dawn, even though she clearly tried to sabotage you. You really are different from how I was. How you were? It'll be easier to explain as we go along. Basically, the entire world of Layer 0 is frozen in time right now. Wait, but wouldn't Dawn and Suki still be able to move around? They are, synchronized with Layer 0, Layer 1, I think Dawn said. Good observation. But we don't have to worry about that, because you and I aren't synchronized with Layer 1. We are synchronized with Layer 2. Huh? Storyteller stood up. Ever since the Duskbreaker was first turned on, and we were all stuck down in this world, I've been watching it waiting for this opportunity. You aren't aware of this, but your life has looped many times now. Every time you had a different degree of close to the truth, and every time something happened to reset the story, and the memories of you and everyone else on Layer 0. Are you kidding? How long has it been? 8,266 cycle. But don't worry, I know what you're thinking. It's still around 2022 in Layer 3. How the hell does that work? This is getting to be a bit much of a comfort hand, I need to be honest. Yeah, I don't blame you, tell you what. Storyteller opened the door into what looked like a purple temple. Scattered across Layer 1 are various information logs which I had set up for a previous step of the plan. When you're ready, go take a look at this. They'll explain a fair bit, and when you're done, come talk to me in the south area of the purple temple. I'll tell you what we have to do. Okay, I think I can do that. Alright, and seriously, there's no rush. Please don't push yourself. You'll only be strengthening Dawn if you do. Right. Storyteller left the room. I flopped my head back on the pillow of Dawn's bed. Everything felt so insane, but what surprised me more than anything was how well I was holding myself together. I won't falter anymore. I didn't know the full extent of what Dawn wanted to accomplish, but I knew it wasn't good. And if I had a choice of stopping it, no matter the cost, I would give it a shot. Hey, I think I'm ready. Are you holding up okay? I understand it can be a lot. Yeah, I think I'm fine. Honestly, I wish I learned most of these things to adhere instead of just being forced to confront them by Dawn. Yeah, Dawn isn't the most understanding, or understanding at all. On account of that, she lacks actual humanity. Why does she? It seems like Suki got back her humanity. Does Dawn not realize that she didn't have to do all of this? I think she does, but she doesn't care. Or more accurately, she can't let herself care. Dawn represents unchecked dangerous determination, right? So, if she let herself care, she would be freeing all of the effort she's been putting to escape since Cycle 1. That's really sad. Yeah, it is. I look behind Storyteller. So, what exactly are we doing here? This seems to be a dead end. Ah, right. So, you just explored layer 1 of between space, right? Yes. I I'm going to open up a crack in the world to allow us to reach layer 2. Suki and Dawn had never been able to reach it, and it's where I spent all of this time trapped. What's in layer 2 that's important for us? The key to escaping the Dustbreaker once and for all. What? For real? It's been there from the very start, but I'm not able to access it. At least 2 of the 4 shattered pieces of ourselves needed to be there. I don't know why. I get it. Okay, then let's go. Alright, grab onto the ledge there. It's going to shake a bit. I watched as Storyteller extended her hand like she was casting magic, and a fissure in the air appeared out of nowhere. The ground shook, and then stopped shaking. Here we go then. We emerged from the portal into darkness. Is it usually this dark in here? Yeah, sorry, I don't like having the lights on. Damn, you really are me. Storyteller laughed. So, through that door up there is the Dawnbreaker's core. It's where we need to go. Right. But it's long behind the 3 gate control switches, and neither of us are able to press them unless we are present. The Dustbreaker is very, very strict about permissions. Ah, okay. Got it. Let's work together and get through then. Sounds like a plan to me. A large gate stood in front of us. Alright, I'm pretty sure the course is right behind here, but in front of the door was a large lock with a screen on it. I walked over to it. It says verify synchronization of subject to asset shutdown box, and there's a button that says test. Figures, of course it wouldn't be that easy. I turned back to look at her. Do you know what this thing is asking her to do? Yeah, I think so. It looks like it wants to test us again our trauma over Suki's death. What? Why? Well, we are the subject, remember? We were the one placed in the Dustbreaker to treat our trauma about her death. It looks like it doesn't want to even give us a time of day about how we can get out of here until we've proven to it that we overcome the trauma. God damn it, Dad, your trauma machine is a pain in the ass. Tell me about it. I exhale. Okay, I guess we have to hit the test button? Do you know what it's going to do? I have absolutely zero idea. I've never been able to get in here before. Great. Well, here goes nothing, I guess. I walk over to the device and hit the test button. A loud roaring noise filled the room. And then... When I came to, I was inside a small room with a large glowing machine in the center. I sat up. Storyteller sat next to me against the wall. Good morning. How long was I out? Well, you woke up about 3 minutes after me. I don't know how long I was out for. Time is frozen in the simulator, remember? Right, forgot about that. So, where are we? Inside the Dark Sprinkle core. I carried you in here after I woke up outside the gate. The lock was removed. So, did we pass the test? What did it even do? I have no idea, but I don't think it would have unlocked if we hadn't passed by whatever margin it considered that to be. I sighed and sat up. Though the room was small in diameter, the ceiling was quite high, and in the center of the spherical room sat a large glowing pedestal, whirring non-stop. So then that's the Dark Sprinkle core? Seems like it. How exactly is this thing supposed to tell us how we can get out? On the other side, there's a little screen. I haven't messed with it too much yet, but it seems to be a control panel for the Dark Sprinkler. The entire Dark Sprinkler? That's a good find. I wouldn't get your hopes up, knowing how strict EDEP is about permissions. True. I stood up and walked over to the screen. Oh, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of buttons. Yeah, I think the shutdown function is listed under the System Management tab. Let's see. System Management... Shutdown. There it is. Should I press it? I mean, you can find. If it just works, that'd be great. But it wouldn't be that easy. Okay, here goes. I tapped the button labeled Simulator Eject and Shutdown. It brought up another tab. Oh, looks like this is another menu. Hold on, it explains the thing. I'll read it. To shut the Dark Sprinkle off from inside, first you must eject the subject and any other inhabitant from the simulator and return them to their original layer. Wait, huh? Wasn't the whole point of the Dark Sprinkle that it wasn't actually moving the entire mind into the simulated world? Yeah, I'm really not sure what's going on here. Oh! Huh? What was it? I think I might know. Hold on, let me think. Keep reading for now. Okay. Once the simulator inhabitant has been ejected, they will be stored in memory temporarily. From here, the subject can press the shutdown switch to shut off the simulator and finish the transfer to the original meta layer. So it's sounding like we have to first eject them and that will bring everyone here? Or the very least, somewhere where we can access the same control panel. That probably wouldn't be between space then, since the void is not exclusive to the Duskbreaker. It exists between every meta layer. I'm guessing it's a smaller, temporarily simulated environment. To begin the eject procedure, please tap the scan button to allow 1028 to verify the subject identity. Ah, bingo. I looked over at her, and she stood up and walked over to me. Did you figure something out? She did. I figured out why this shutdown sequence doesn't match how Dad designed the Duskbreaker. I stepped aside and she fiddled around with the control panel until she found an about page. Of course. Take a look. She pointed at the part of the screen that read, Adaptive System Framework 1028 Uniform 011 Control. This thing adapts depending on the situation thanks to that godforsaken 1028 AI, which means the condition for exiting changed after we were put into the Duskbreaker and the situation became what it is. Exactly. God, of course Dad had to jam his stupid AI into this thing. I mean, hey, I guess it does work well. It keeps us alive even despite how much went wrong. True, but check this out. She went back to the shutdown menu and tapped the scan button. Wait, now? What about? Oh! An error popped up on screen. It read wavelength mismatch 1.66 petabyte data discrepancy. Data discrepancy? Of course it didn't be that easy. God damn it! Mind explaining? Okay, so do you know how big a human brain is? I think it depends on the size of the guy. Storyteller laughed. No, not that kind of size. I mean in data. Human brains are just electrical interpreters. Everything we take in and remember can be measured in data size. Oh, I have no idea then. Right, so it's around 2,500 terabytes. When we got put in the Duskbreaker, our data was split. Something like you and I each got 850 terabyte and Suki and Dawn each got around 400 terabyte. What? How does that make sense? I struggle to believe that any of us would function without at least like 99% of the 2,500 terabytes. Good question. My running theory is that our mind, though separated by the severance of emotion, are still connected. It will explain why Dawn is empowered by your belief in her ideal, even though you are different people in layer 0. Or why was I able to replace Dawn memories back into her after the Worldkeeper ejected them in the severance? She looked back at the terminal. Notice the amount of data that's not matching? 1.66 petabyte or 1,660 terabytes. I finally understood what she was getting at. That's what Dawn was talking about, with becoming whole again. It needs all of us to be in one body or mind again before we can leave, right? Yep. Now, convincing me to join your mind won't be hard at all. Suki will be difficult, but it's possible. Dawn on the other hand is a real trouble here. Wait, why would you join my mind? What's going to happen to you? Aren't you the original Saturday? We are all the original Saturday. I will still exist, just as part of the mind of Saturday. Just like how it was before we enter. That isn't fair. I should be the one to join your mind then. You are the one who's been trying to get to this point. I'm just body of the original. Storyteller put her hand on my shoulder. You are the one who's lived through every cycle. All 8,266 of them. You've been through hell and back, died and come back to life thousands of times. If you join into my mind, all of that will cease to be real. You don't deserve that. Don't undersell yourself, goddammit! Without you, none of this would have been possible. I don't want to see you go. You shouldn't have to go. Saturday, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be with you from now until the end. Not the end of the Duskbreaker, but the end of our life. We aren't supposed to be separated like this. This is how it should be. I walked forward and fell into her arms, hugging her tight. I cried. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, how do we have you join my mind? I noticed this earlier. It's under the wavelength matching menu on the control panel. She navigated to the menu and pointed at the button called Data Merge. She pressed it. It looks like it wants the wavelength of the data to be copied over first, so I tapped the button in here. She tapped the button labeled Accept Data. The screen changed, now requesting the wavelength of the data that will receive the merged data. You up? Yeah. I stepped in front of the terminal and tapped the Accept Data button. The screen changed. It now had two buttons that need to be pressed by both wavelengths. I looked over at Storyteller. She was clearly nervous. We don't have to do this. Now! She slammed her index finger down the button and didn't release it. Seeing the extent of her determination, I did the same. A loud whirring filled the speckle in the room, and the process began. I felt my feet touch ground on familiar soil again. Once again, in the midst of a one-sided firefight. Did y'all miss me? Dawn, having realized that the culmination of her villain monologue was a severe anticlimax, kept fruitlessly pulling the trigger. Suki looked on with an unreadable expression as blood soaked my clothes before they repaired themselves, my wound closing as fast as she was making them. Bullet after bullet penetrated my skin, and I didn't feel the thing. It took about 10 seconds before she was finally too exasperated to pull the trigger. How the fuck are you? What? She spoke in shaky breaths. The once confident girl was now timid and bemused. Suki, too, was bewildered by what was happening. Soon, Dawn's confusion was replaced by an adulterate rage. Don't fuck with me! She made a show of pulling the trigger again, aiming clean for the head. It's about as effective as the previous dozen times she tried to kill me in the past minute. What the hell are you still here? How are you standing? Why had the cycle not reset? She hadn't realized it yet. I gave her time. Another bullet flew out, but this one was a narrow miss. I'm not sure if she was intentionally doing it, or if she was just too consumed by anger to aim properly. Why are you alive? You have been shot multiple times. You know so much about your sister's death, and yet we obviously still want 8,266. Are we? I wonder. I could visualize the gears turning by the look changing behind her eyes. She was putting the pieces together in her head, though she wasn't quite ready to admit to herself how powerless she was. Suki was just watching the fireworks unfold as she processed all of this information. I couldn't blame her. You are not layer 0 anymore, are you? I was silent. Oh God, you aren't even layer 1! A smile crept across my face. I couldn't help but feel a sense of schadenfreude. Seeing the girl who was so adamant in killing me and resetting the cycle realized how powerless she was now. But of course, she was powerless. She didn't have the access to the 4th dimension. She didn't have you. As Dawn experienced the stage of grief, I transcended my reality, synchronizing with myself, experiencing the life of thousands of different Saturdays. Each with lives so similar to mine yet each ultimately cut tragically short by the feud between my self-appointed protectors. It was a sobering realization, but an empowering one, now that I had the tool to shape my own future. I was finally a version of myself that I could be confident in, thanks to her and thanks to you. And I won't let our dream go unfulfilled. Stop motion. Dawn staggered back. Any and all energy had evaporated from her after millions of cycles. She began to sob. God, God, fucking damn it! I walked over to her and kneeled down. You're not a bad person, Dawn. I understand. Yeah? And what made you think you could understand what I've been through? What made you think that? Well, for one, you are literally part of me. Piss off! I extended a hand to her. Let's go home. Together. I looked over at Suki. She seems to understand and nodded. But Dawn didn't take my hand. She slapped it away and stood up. Her eyes are still full of tears. Like, how am I going home and leave with you? Dawn rematerialized her pistol and pressed the button on it. The holster switched around and the end of the gun took the form of a knife. This is only going to end one way, Saturday. You realizing that you don't need her. And I would do anything to achieve that. She swung a gun knife down beside her, creating a fissure in the air. I'll be seeing you soon. She walked into her self-made portal and disappeared. Suki rushed over to me. Are you really Saturday? Yeah, just a little more whole than I was before. You're going to need to fill me on what's going on. Don't worry, I will. But we need to make a truce. I can't fight both of you. I think I've only got 1 million cycle battle in me. Ever. Yeah, I don't have any reason to attack you at this point. Suddenly, the ground around us began to shake. What's going on? Dawn, what the hell is she doing? The night sky above us turned a violent shade of red. Parts of the terrain around us began to glitch out, and a large rock monument destabilized and began rolling down the hill towards us. Quick! Get Allison! Go! Right! I rushed over to wake up the still unconscious Allison. Despite having storyteller inside me now, I wasn't any more physically fit. Come on, Ali! Wake up! Wake up! Allison's eyes fluttered open. Saturday? What? Her eyes went wide when she felt the ground shaking. Ah! She stood upright immediately and I grabbed her hand and ran after Suki down the hill. Behind us, the stone monument tumbled down and landed right on top of the graveyard. Allison, Suki, and I stood at the bottom of the hill, gazing up on the now red sky. Saturday, what's going on? And she turned to look at me. What's with the new outfit? I mean, I like it, but just what the hell is happening? I sighed. It takes a while to explain, but I promise I will. Can you go see if the buses are still running? Yeah, hold on. Allison took out her phone and began to check. I walked over to where Suki stood alone, looking up. I know that you are not the real Suki. Yeah. Even still, I'm glad you're with us now. Yeah. I look up with her. Dawn. She's hurting. I know she is. She really does a good job at making it feel like a climatic finale chapter, doesn't she? Well, she is proud of us, and we are huge nerds. Suki laughed in what has been her first genuine laugh since she has been split off. You got me there. I felt a tap on my shoulder and looked over to see Allison gesturing to her phone. But it's still running. We should get back to Chile as soon as possible. Agree. Oh god, there's going to be a lot of explaining here. Allison looked warily at Suki. Yeah, no kidding. We walked down to the bus stop. We finally had a way out, and I wasn't going to stop until we made it. Dawn staggered into her room, out of breath. She noticed the bedsheet ruffle as if someone else had used them, but didn't have the energy to be upset. She flopped onto her bed. Is this the right thing to do? She said the words, but like every other time she thought them in the past 4 hours, she dispelled them immediately. No, I have to. I come all the way just for this. She stood up and sat down at the desk, and opened a file folder on her computer that she hadn't touched in what felt like centuries. A folder called Ultimation. Dawn double-clicked to open the application and hit a button labeled Start. The screen flashed. If they want to play with fire, then I will give them a whole meteor shower. Ultimation. Date of correction 30 of December 2022. Time of correction 11:59 p.m. Please wait for the designated time for the simulator correction to begin.